I'm Chef Keita, and I welcome you today to Hunger Bites. I have my friend with me here, Talia.
Okay.
We both work at the Food Bank of South Jersey in the Health and Wellness Department. And Talia is going to show us how to use household items in exercises. Talia, you want to get started?
Yeah, so first off, we wanted to talk about physical activity. So physical activity is really any bodily movement that requires energy, works your muscles, and gets your heart rate above normal resting levels. Okay. So things like running, walking, swimming, yoga, dancing, the list goes on and on. Those are all, of course, traditional ways of physical activity, but did you know that chores and, yard work are definitely something that we would consider physical activity as well?
Oh, no. And to think about it, Talia, fall and winter season, I bet a lot of people do not want to go out in the cold. I, for one, kind of dread it. I bundle up gloves, hat, scarf, earmuffs. I do it all. But, fall and winter months, I bet it's pretty hard for people, especially at home, to go out. So to do something that's probably inside the house would be, ideal for those ones that do not want to go out and, into the cold with these winter months coming.
Definitely. And we will go over some super easy exercises that you can actually do at home.
Nice.
But I do want to touch a little bit on physical activity and why it's so great. So you may be asking yourself at home, how much physical activity do you need? So for adults, we want to shoot for about 30 minutes, 5 times a week. And then for children, we want to shoot about for 60 minutes a day.
Okay.
And then what are the benefits of this? People don't really talk about it, kind of, helping prevent and manage things like type 2 diabetes,
Yes.
heart disease, and high blood pressure. And then sleep can even, give you energy and kind of improve things like bone health and, your sleep.
Yeah.
So overall, it just gives you a bunch of energy and it does make you feel good.
Nice. So I can imagine, you could sleep better. That means the next day you're more energized, and you're more productive maybe at work or at home with your family, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Thanks.
And we always want you to remember that some exercise is better than none. So definitely any way that you can get your exercise in. And then we do have some super easy exercises that I can show you now that you can do during these winter months, and it doesn't involve all that fancy equipment.
Oh, okay. Do you mind if I do them with you?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
Okay.
So let's get started.
Yes, so we're gonna start off
Okay.
grabbing some towels, if you have towels around your house, and we're gonna do some mountain climbers. So what you would do is put your towels down on the floor,
Okay.
and you would go into push-up position.
All
So,
right.
just like this.
Okay.
And then what you would do is your mountain climbers, so just bring your knees towards your chest.
Oh.
And the towels kind of make it a little bit easier to slide on the floor at home.
Or to clean your floors while you're exercising, right?
Definitely.
At least a dusting, right? And you wouldn't want to use the towels, of course, that you use in everyday household things. But
Yes.
for the most part, yeah, this is pretty easy. What else you got for us, Talia?
So next, we're gonna grab a can, or really anything that you can use as a weight at home. We're just gonna use cans for today.
Okay.
And so what you're gonna do is some tricep curls. So you're gonna extend your arm out here, and you're kind of just gonna bring it in.
Oh.
Super simple, and then after a while, you definitely will feel it, especially depending on the size of your can.
Okay, so some of those number 10 cans, the huge ones, doing these, yeah, definitely, if this isn't challenging enough. But, feel free to use the smaller ones if you have the 8-ounce cans. And you can tell already from my breath that, it's definitely a workout.
Yeah.
What some other positions can I do with this can?
You can actually, you definitely can bring it behind your head and do some extensions here.
Ah, I like this. This kind of works this part of your arms, right? Like this part?
Yep, right here.
All right.
You could bring it out, definitely if you want to do squats with it even.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's definitely tons of different things you can use.
And who doesn't have a can in their home,
exactly.
right? What else do we got? I see some laundry detergent you have here.
Yes, so
You're really bold with this one, Talia. It's kind of big, but I'm gonna use these, because I'm not as challenging as Talia is right here, but For the most part, you know, you can use any size laundry detergent you have.
Whatever you have at home.
All right, and then what are we doing now?
And this one, we're gonna do some squats.
Okay.
So we're gonna bring our feet apart a little bit. We're gonna bring this out, and we're gonna squat down. And you can come back up, or you can hold it and then come back up.
Okay.
So whichever, you know, if you want to challenge yourself holding it and seeing how long you can hold it, you definitely can do that with your, you know, your makeshift weight here.
And it's actually, you know, when you're putting clothes in the wash and dryer, you know, do a few squats with your laundry detergent, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you, Talia.
No problem.
All right, guys, we are going to actually take a quick commercial break. And when we get back, I have 2 delicious recipes that we're going to make. I'll see you soon.
30 miles of beautiful beaches, solid rock, and everything in between.
Look in the window.
Now that's New Jersey.
Hi, welcome back. That exercising was very well displayed by you, Talia. Thank you very much. I will definitely be doing some of those things in my house with my household products once I, you know, have time to do them all, and of course, you know, making the time to do them, because I think those things were really simple and easy, and I appreciate you showing me those things.
No problem.
You're welcome. Or, thank you again. But so right now we're going to talk about seasonal vegetables. So of course it's the fall, winter months. Rooted vegetables are a really good comfort food. You can do a lot of different things with them. We have some seasonal vegetables here. We have some parsnips. These are all rooted vegetables, things that grow from the ground. We have some potatoes. And these are the things that you would find at your local produce place or even at your grocery store. I have some apples here, some pears. And, you know, don't get discouraged if you see something like this. Has anyone seen something like this in their produce places? This is actually a purple cauliflower. Feel free to still use it just like your regular cauliflower, but how pretty is it? Look how purple that is. How would you like to display something purple on your kitchen table, right, Talia? What else do we have here?
We have some turnips.
Yep, turnips, and we have some squash here. Have you ever seen something like this? This is squash here. And again, we have Brussels sprouts, but again, you know, some things that you can do with some of these vegetables is roasting them. Roasting them is a technique that you would use a very high temperature in your oven, 450. Usually you would cut all your veggies down about the same size, put them on a baking sheet, put them in the oven on 450, and kind of look and have a feel for when they're done, because you could say about 10, 15, 20 minutes, but honestly, if you have a thicker piece of vegetable compared to maybe a thinner piece of vegetable, of course, you know, you want to cook that a little longer. So you want to take your fork, pierce it, and see if it comes out clean. Anything else you want to talk about with the rooted vegetables, Talia?
So soups are definitely a big thing. You know, when the colder months are coming, it's getting a little bit darker a little bit earlier, and it's definitely getting chilly. So soups are a super easy and tasty way to just incorporate a little bit more of those vegetables into your diet.
And who doesn't like a good tasting soup, right?
Yeah.
So here I'm going to actually cut up some, and these are purple onions. Of course, whatever onion you have at your home is perfect that you can use for this recipe. I'm actually making the roasted vegetables. You might see on the screen now that, you know, you can use any vegetables you have. Any rooted vegetables are ideal for this technique of cooking. So we have some purple onions here. I actually have some sweet potatoes. I know a lot of times people tell me that their children, you know, they don't like vegetables, things like that. But sweet potatoes are actually really sweet, and once you roast them off, it brings out that sweetness into this vegetable, and it's healthy for you. So you do want to, you know, use some of those sweet potatoes, especially if you have like 1 or 2 left over. You know, use them in this recipe. Have some Brussels sprouts. What we did here was we cut the Brussels sprouts in half and actually took the stem off. So when you buy your Brussels sprouts, it looks like this. We just took that root end off and cut them right in half and put them right on this baking sheet. And then I have some carrots here. So I'm gonna put a little bit of carrots in here. The carrots are pretty much cut up about the same size. And again, that's to make sure that everything cooks evenly. When you do cut your carrot, use the whole carrot. So I've seen some people actually use a pillar and take that first layer off. don't do that. Stay away from that. Cut your carrot just like this. Even if you cut it in half a few times, it's fine. But you want to use all that carrot up. And how pretty does this look? I'm just gonna move this a little closer to me. So
Yeah, definitely with things like that, like using the whole carrot, you know, keeping the skins on your vegetables is definitely beneficial to you. A lot of people don't know, but there is a lot of fiber in those skins of your vegetables. And fiber is definitely something, if you're not familiar with, you want to be eating a little bit more in your diet. So you definitely do get those nutrients in the skins of your vegetables.
yes, yes. And how many people out there have heard that you need more fiber in your diet, right? And that's a way that you can get that fiber is using those skins. You know, using the skin of your potato and things and your apples. You can even roast apples. Did you know that? Literally, you know, cut them just like this, put them on your roasting pan, add some olive oil, and you want to be generous with your olive oil. You want to make sure each piece pretty much has enough olive oil to consume all that good flavor of the olive oil and to make sure that your vegetables don't burn. So you definitely want to have a good mix. Now, if you don't want to use your hands, I'm big on using my hands. If you don't want to use your hands, of course, use a spoon. But you know, you want to mix that olive oil in there. And actually, now that I have olive oil in my hand, I do need some salt and pepper. Talia, do you mind pinching some salt and pepper over our vegetables here? And I like to use kosher salt. It doesn't have that iodine that the regular table salt has, and the iodine is really only meant to be used for baking. So you don't really need to use the regular old table salt. You want to use, and you know, you can use anything you want. I always say doctor your stuff up. If you want to use garlic, I know the roasted garlic is always my favorite. I don't care what has roasted garlic in it. I'm gonna eat it. I'm gonna order it. I want it because that roasted garlic just has that fabulous flavor. And if you want to put, garlic cloves in here and roast them off, still sprinkling with that olive oil, salt and pepper. If you don't want to use your salt, that's fine too. Use your pepper, use your garlic, use other seasonings. I always talk about using curry, trying to use other seasonings so you can stay away from that salt. That's fine too. So we already preheated our oven to 450. We're gonna put this actually in the oven. And then the magic of TV, we have it already done here. And as you can see, the coloration is different, right? You have more of a what's this, like a brown, kind of dark, roasted color in here. And the smell is just, it's the aroma of it. I wish you guys at home could smell it, but you will because you'll be making this recipe at home, right? For whatever reason, we are going to try this because I can't stand having this good smelling food in my nose and not actually trying some. And I do love some Brussels sprouts. We did actually put these Brussels sprouts in here because I think that it's one of those things that a lot of people go away from. They don't know what to do with them. And this is a good technique that you can use at home so you can add more flavors to your dinners at home. Oh yeah. It's nice and soft, but still a little bite that you could tell it's very fresh. And again, if you want to add anything to this, doctor it up, you can add chicken. The canned chicken's fine. If you want to, do anything else with this, by all means. It's so pretty too. If you just imagine this at your dinner table, even for these holidays that are coming up or for any holiday, any family function or any maybe birthday parties or something, add the fresh veggies, add it to your pizzas, especially if it's left over, if you make too much and then, you have leftovers, add it to your eggs in the morning. I always talk about using your leftovers, right? So you can go ahead and add this. So how do you like it, Talia?
I love it. It's
Yeah?
so flavorful.
Nice.
And it's super easy, if people aren't super savvy in, cooking, it definitely is just, popping your chopped vegetables into an oven and roasting it.
Yep. I'm just gonna grab a paper towel just to wipe my hands a little bit. And then we'll move on to our next recipe. And again, I will use the rest of these vegetables later. So our next recipe is going to actually be soup. It's called clean your fridge out soup. So any leftovers that you have, any vegetables, feel free to use them in this recipe. Talia has some healthy vegetables here
Yep.
that she's going to demonstrate and let you know what she has.
Yeah. So this is actually some sweet potatoes, regular potatoes, some broccoli, and actually some
Carrots.
carrots. Yeah. Yep, carrots. And
Yep.
so this is all just basically chopped up. Nothing else has been done to them. They're just all chopped. And we actually are just going to throw these into a pot here.
I'll switch with you so you can go ahead and throw all these nice rooted vegetables into a pot. And again, this is a great idea for those times that you have, you brought too much broccoli or you brought too much sweet potatoes or too many, potatoes, and you need a recipe to combat all that stuff that's in your refrigerator. Like, okay, what am I going to do with all these root vegetables? I need to do something with them. This is a great recipe. It's soup. Who doesn't like soup in the winter and fall seasons? Pair it with, a nice sandwich, or just eat it by itself. But did you have anything else to add to that?
Yeah, so we would add a liquid. We actually have some pot liquor here, if you are not familiar with that. Basically, that is just when you cook off things like collards. Definitely that liquid that comes from cooking off the collards and boiling them. You kind of save that liquid instead of getting rid of it, and you can actually use it in a recipe like this.
Yes.
So definitely, like we were talking about the holidays, if you have some of that left over, you can make this as well.
Yeah. So don't discard your juice. If you're boiling veggies, whether it's broccoli, whether it's collard greens, whether it's cauliflower, anything that you boil and you have that liquid, save it. Save it for a broth for your soups and things. This has all the nutrients from those vegetables. So you have, what vitamins do you have? Like vitamin D, and you have your fiber, and you have all those nutrients from that vegetable in this what's called pot liquor. So Talia's gonna pour this in.
So you would just pour this in over your vegetables.
And what you would do is just cook this down, of course, keeping an eye on it. So you want to cook it at like a medium to medium-high heat, and making sure that your vegetables, don't burn on the bottom. You want to add more liquid if you need to add more liquid. And of course, this liquid is vegetable-based, so you're completely adding just more vegetables into what's already a heavy amount of vegetables into this pot. Once you cook it down, you'll notice that the vegetables start to get tender, and that's how you could check to see if it's done. Once it's tender, once you can put a fork through it and it's tender, it kind of breaks apart a little bit, and it breaks down, then what do we do, Talia?
So then you would, turn off your heat, of course, and you would go over to your blender. So we have our blender here, and you would kind of pour these vegetables into your blender and blend them down.
Yep. So for sake of you guys' ears at home, we have already prepared the vegetable soup in our, to clean your fridge out soup into the blender, so we didn't have to turn it on and you hear that at home. So the magic of TV, we already have it pretty much done here. And if you notice, and I mean, I know you have a picture on your screen that's orange, but it all depends on what kind of how much vegetables you use, or what kind of vegetables you use. So if you use more sweet potatoes, of course your soup is going to be orange. Our soup is a little green here. It's quite fine. I'm sure it's tasty. Talia, do you want to serve this up so we could try it? And Talia, how often do you make soup?
Honestly, you can make it, I definitely feel like I probably make soup at least once a week. It's super simple, and that's what I love about it, because you're kind of just putting, everything, like you said, this is a clean out the fridge soup, and you can kind of do that with every soup.
Right.
And just throw in whatever you have at home.
Okay. So if you do like to add something to your soup, whether it's a grilled cheese sandwich, I do recommend using, and I'll just go like that, just wipe that up a little bit. We do have some other additives that we could add to this soup, which is actually very good for you and very, what do we have here?
So we have some pumpkin seeds, and we definitely can add that. It's a little bit of crunch, in your soup.
Okay. And then we have sunflower seeds, actually. So if you want to add some sunflower seeds, again, that's a bit a crunch for you. It's a seed, so it's really good for you. Again, adding that fiber in there. And then we have some actually Greek yogurt. I don't know if people know this, but I actually use plain Greek yogurt as a substitute for sour cream. Plain Greek yogurt tastes exactly, trust me, exactly the same as sour cream. Costs about the same price, but it's way healthier for you. I will add this to my soup, but I do add it to my tacos. I love Greek soup. I love Greek soup, but I love Greek yogurt on my tacos. The kids don't even know that I added the Greek yogurt. They think it's sour cream, and I let them. But it does have more nutrients in it than the what's it called, sour cream.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try this. Call it Talia soup right now. But you see how nice and looks so pretty. And it did blend up very, very well. And that's because we cooked it first in the pot. Oh yeah. I heard a little from Talia as soon as it hit her tongue. What do you think, Talia?
It's so warm and tasty. It feels very comforting.
Yes.
Definitely soup.
Yes, and after, the exercises we did earlier, it's definitely the best option to do. After you do exercises, you don't want to eat something very heavy. So this is definitely an option that you can do. Like I said, utilize, your roasting method, roasting at 450, putting all your vegetables on a sheet pan, roasting them off. I'm going to show you here again what that looked like once it was done. And again, feel free to go around your produce place. And even like yesterday, I went to the grocery store and there were some shelves that didn't have produce on them, but I still grabbed other things. So feel free, get outside, think outside the box, and just know roasting is your best method when it comes to root vegetables like the ones you see here. Anything else we talked about so much today? We had exercises, we had roasted vegetables, soup, we talked about rooted vegetables. Anything else you want to add, Talia?
No, definitely, we did have a variety on the show, and it all kind of relates back to my plate and getting all of those food groups, definitely, and people don't understand that physical activity is just such a huge part of my plate. Maybe you don't see it on the actual plate, but it definitely is such a big part. You definitely want to be getting your physical activity. It is just as important as, eating healthy.
Okay, yeah, Talia, you mentioned my plate. Can you just explain to the viewers at home what my plate is? Is it?
Yes.
And I do know, it's the difference between, the pyramid, like what we used to grow up on. We thought, eating off a pyramid is how we're supposed to go, but you're talking my plate. Can you explain just real quick, what is my plate?
Yeah, so my plate is just the, recommended eating style. So it has our food groups that we're used to, the fruits, the vegetables, protein, grains, and dairy. So it's really important to be kind of, hitting all those marks when you're making your meals throughout the day. You want to be paying attention, getting enough fruits, the 2 cups every day, the vegetables, 2.5 cups, definitely, the 5 ounces of protein, 6 ounces of grains, and definitely the 3 cups of dairy. And you want to be spacing that out throughout all of your meals. So, kind of paying attention to that every time that you're, making something at home or wherever you get your food from.
Nice. And this, like Talia says earlier, is a great way to get that my plate mentality onto your plate. So I thank you for joining us today at Hunger Bites. I do want to mention that we are from the Food Bank of South Jersey. $1 donations actually serves 3 meals to someone in South Jersey. We actually serve Camden, Burlington, Gloucester, and Salem counties. So if you could just go to foodbanksj.org and donate $1, it will give a person in those 4 counties that I just mentioned 3 meals. $1 for 3 meals. How easy is that? So I'll catch you next time, and thank you again for joining me on Hunger Bites, because quite frankly, hunger bites. See you next time.